If you were enlarged to the same size as a rex, throw it into the Cretaceous period, when dinosaurs were most prosperous, will you be a big piece of fat? Now, you stand in the most prosperous prehistoric wilderness of the Cretaceous period. Your body is proportionally enlarged to the size of an adult rex. He is 7 meters tall and weighs nearly 9 tons. The heavy soles of my feet stepped on the wet peat bog. Every step made the ground tremble slightly, stepping on huge deep footprints, surrounded by endless dense forests of cycads and cycads. The hot and humid air carried the smell of rotting vegetation. The low roar of a giant beast came from the distant swamp. This is the home of prehistoric giants. Killing and looting are the rules of survival engraved in the blood. And compared with the rough-skinned and thick-fleshed dinosaurs on this land, covered with scales and bone spurs, your body is too special. In the eyes of all prehistoric predators, you are just a piece of top-notch fat meat with no defense. But unlike ordinary prey, you have human thinking and know how to use the tools around you to build a defense line for yourself. You are by no means a dead thing left to be slaughtered by dragons. The first thing to be attracted to your huge body is a group of 2-meter-long velociraptors that live in groups. Several velociraptors burst out from the bushes, their strong bodies lowered to the ground, and their sharp vertical pupils locked on you, habitually gathering around for temptation. In their hunting cognition, large creatures tend to move clumsily and turn slowly. Being white and fat, you are an excellent hunting target. When faced with a siege, you won't fight them like wild beasts. So you leaned over and broke the thick prehistoric tree next to you. Use your arms to tear off the bark of all the branches. Relying on the enlarged arm strength, you hold the long stick tightly with both hands and sweep out. A strong wind roared past. The few velociraptors near the front were knocked back by the wind of the stick, and they hurriedly retreated. The one that rushed forward was hit by the stick and was instantly thrown away, falling heavily to the ground. Loss of mobility. Seeing this, the other velociraptors retreated one after another. Don't dare to attack rashly again. Relying on wisdom and simple tools, you easily defuse the siege of small predators. It proves that this big piece of fat has good self-defense capabilities. You continue to use local materials. Pick up the hard, giant gravel in the wilderness, knocking stones against each other to polish. Create a sharp stone blade tied to the top of a wooden pole. Create a primitive giant stone spear. You lean against the dense forest and stand firm, holding a homemade spear, a huge body with sharp tools. It is enough to scare all small and medium-sized dinosaurs. The ostriches and small theropod dinosaurs that came closer in the follow-up tests were all daunted by your tight posture and sharp weapons. For a time, no one dared to attack the small and medium-sized predators in the entire area. But this confidence in self-preservation was fragile in front of the top overlords of the Cretaceous. At this moment, the ground suddenly began to tremble violently, and the sound of heavy footsteps crushing everything came from deep in the jungle. An overbearing and violent roar penetrated the clouds. An adult rex slowly walked out of the forest. It was the ultimate top of the Cretaceous food chain. Thick skull, jagged and deadly teeth, thick and hard scales. Every inch of the body is made for killing. The aura overwhelmed the entire audience. When the rex locks its eyes on you, a strong desire for hunting burst out instantly. In its eyes, you are a very cost-effective prey because you are large in size, have tender meat, and do not have the hardcore defense of dinosaurs. It slowly lowered its body and gathered strength in its legs. A low, menacing growl emitted from his chest, approaching you step by step. You clenched the giant stone spear in your hand, and your whole body tensed up. Be prepared for all-out defense. You know your strengths and weaknesses very well. You don't have the fighting instinct of a wild beast, not as explosive as a sprint. The only support, it's the tools in hand and a calm mind. When the rex suddenly attacked, you tried your best to raise your hand and thrust out the stone spear. The sharp stone blade pierced its chest scales hard, and after a harsh, crisp sound, the tip of the stone spear instantly cracked and shattered. The hard wooden shaft vibrated violently and was full of cracks. The thick scales of Rex are like steel armor. It completely withstood the blow you put all your strength into. Not only did this counterattack not cause any damage, instead, it completely angered the prehistoric overlord. It shook its head violently, and its huge body rushed forward. The huge impact force directly knocks your multi-ton body staggering back. He lost his balance and fell heavily to the ground. The tools you made with your wisdom can stabilize small monsters, allows you to survive safely in the underlying ecology of the Cretaceous period. But it is completely insufficient to compete with the overlord at the top of the food chain. At this moment, you have completely lost all illusions of defense. It turned back into that huge, fat man with no power to fight back. So the answer is never in doubt. Enlarged to the size of a Rex, you are still essentially a piece of top-notch fat walking around. Wisdom and tools can help you avoid ant-like threats, but it was unable to fight against the top murderous power of the Cretaceous. In the face of absolute physical strength, biological armor and hunting instinct, human beings' cleverness and simple creations are ultimately vulnerable.